Hey there, folks. Foggy here. This is day 122 of my year of solo board gaming, considered by many to be ill-advised and stupid. And if it's day 122, you know what that means. We are literally one-third of the way through the year, which is horrifying to think about, but we are one-third of the way through. And this will be, I think, May 2nd that this comes out, if it's 122. I want to say that that's right. So we're already in the fifth month of the year. It's not May 2nd yet right now. It's April 22nd right now for me. So you're seeing this like well into the future, my future, like 10 days into my future. So hopefully I'm still around. You'll never know. So I got Welcome to the Moon. I'm gonna complain here for a moment because I like complaining and that's what I do. It's what I do best. So I really love the Welcome to games. I did not do Welcome to Vegas. I've never tried that one. But I thought, you know what? Well, this is the new one. We'll try Welcome to the Moon. We'll see what it's like. And I opened it up, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of neat. This is kind of neat. Oh, we got boxes in here. Now, I did not discover the boxes first because what's over the boxes, I've actually rearranged this a little bit. So the boxes actually are on the bottom. What actually appears on top of these dry erase mats for each of the adventures. And I'm like, oh, well, that's kind of cool. It's kind of neat. You just erase and then just get rid of it. That's very, very eco-friendly, so to speak. And you get those, and that looks kind of nice. It looks very, very unique. It's got 8 different maps, and like, wow, this looks really intense. I don't even know what I'm going to be doing here. And then I get into it, and I'm like, okay, so we got a rule book and then a campaign book. Like, wait a second, is this a campaign? Is this a legacy game? Is that why I've got tuck boxes in here? I've got tuck boxes because I'm going to open these at specific points. I'm not supposed to open these yet because I've been trained by these boxes in the past. These are the boxes of the game. I'll be told when to open these thanks to this lovely campaign. So I'll start reading the rules. When I start reading the rules, I'm like, wait, I have all of these, but it hasn't told me to open any of them. Wait, what? So, which is really a little frustrating. So I'm going to give you a quick breakdown of what's actually in the box, so that you have that for your own edification. So I'm going to open this up. This is one of the two. I think I've written on the box. Yeah, written on them here. Here we go. So there are a bunch of campaign cards that you're not supposed to look at until you get to that point. They're all numbered on one side. You got 124 here. This goes down to 174. And you're not supposed to look at those. Same with the ones in here. There's basically enough to fill up 2 different tuck boxes. And the way that they're set up, they come wrapped in packs, but these cards are included in other packs. So you're opening up part of it, and you're not supposed to look at some of it, but you are supposed to look at some. It's very confusing. Like, I don't understand why these weren't done in 2 separate packs altogether, and then the rest of them done as like it was very confusing. Very confusing. But following what's in here and sort of figuring out what I've got, and I'm like, okay, well, this is what I've got. I decided, all right, I'm going to put all of these in 2 of these like tuck boxes with the rockets on the front, and I'm actually going to write in where they are so I don't have to go look them up. So these are all campaign cards that are spoilerific. We're going to set those aside. Don't have anything to worry about there. So accomplish, what I've put in here are what I think are the mission goals. Now, come on, don't be shy. All right, so the mission goals are set up A, B, and C. We've got different types here, and it does look like these are just simply different, much like the contract cards in the base game. These are contracts that you try to finish. You get points if you're the first one to finish, and if you're the second one to finish, you can get that as well. So those are the contract cards, and I'm going to leave that open. You've then got one box just simply for a card that is solely used in Adventure 8, apparently. So we'll just put that back in there, and then a bunch of dry erase pens. I was a little shocked when I opened up one of the boxes and that's what was inside. I'm like, these are kind of important. Like, I understand if you're not going to supply them, you're not going to supply them. That's fine. I've got my other dry erase markers. We're going to keep one out because we're going to need that for the game. Then we've got our actual cards, and these appear to be the cards that are the base of the game. These are the cards that define the actions that you take and then they've got numbers on the back. So much the same way that Welcome to has its setup with cards and things. What I'm a little disappointed, these seem a lot staler than the Welcome to cards. Like the Welcome to cards are fun. Like you go through and you look at those, the images that have like the actual images with the numbers on them. They're fun to look at. They're fun to like flip through and imagine you got a little story working on. You got a dog on some of them. I don't think you have a dog on any of these. I haven't looked through them yet, but you got some debris. You got stuff. I mean, it is Welcome to the Moon. You're not going to have a dog on the moon unless it's Leica. You got Star Trek Enterprise. That's kind of a nice little touch. So all of these. Oh, you do have a cat. You do have Jonesy from Alien. And I think that is actually like a tail in the background there. So all right, there's a little bit of fun there, but it's a small amount of fun. Like I feel like given, you got to kind of look for. Oh, there's the dog. There's the dog. All right, I take that back. I was wrong. There's a dog in here. All right, but those are your number cards. You can tell that I've not actually played a game of this because those aren't shuffled at all. Those are nicely in order. And then finally, you get your Astra deck here. And again, all of the cards were actually in like 2 or 3 different shrink-wrapped packs mixed together. Yeah, I mean, fortunately there were dividers for the secret cards, the campaign cards, but the rest of these were just sort of like in there with it. So you had to sort of like flip through, and it's like it's not easy to tell. Like this is less easy to figure out than I'd like. So, but you've got some of your. I think these play the same role as the cards in the Astrid Solo version of Welcome to. These are going to provide like little things that pop up in the deck, presumably. And then I think we've got some score sheets here, but I'm not sure because again, everything's so obtuse. Like it's difficult to read, I feel. But essentially, I think some of these have the same basic role as in the regular game. So there are, I think, 8 different opponents that you can have for Astra. You have Catherine, reference to Katherine Johnson from NASA. You've got Alexei, Margaret, Sergei, Franklin, Thomas, Stephanie, and Peggy. And those are your opponents, possible opponents. And then I think these are. I'm not sure what these are. I'm legitimately not sure. I think these are specifically for adventures, like 1, 3, 5, 7, and then this is for 2, 4, 5, 6, 2, 4, 6, 8. And so I think this is whatever adventure you're looking at, like that's the one that you want to reference. But that is it. I've not actually played a game of this, so in this video, in this what might end up being a very tedious video, I apologize. I'm actually going to be going through learning this game. I'm going to learn this game for the first time. I'm going to grab some coffee back here. Why did I put my coffee all the way back here? Why didn't I fill up my coffee cup before starting this video? Let's see. I'm going to read you the little overview that's in the front because it's kind of fun. Citizens of Earth, we are facing a dire situation. Our planet is doomed. The fate of humanity is in your hands. It is no longer about preserving our way of life or our economy. Now it is a struggle for our very existence, and our survival depends on our capacity to conquer the moon. This conquest, this last hope of survival, we entrust it to you. You'll be in competition with each other in order to give us the best chances of success. You will write a decisive page of our history by saving us all. Welcome to the moon. Excerpt from the address of Caitlin Nelson Blue, the first president of the Human Alliance. All right. So this is the last episode of the Welcome to trilogy of games. First going with the residential housing estates of the 50s, casinos of the 60s, and space of the God knows when. It is an evolving narrative flip and write game with 8 different adventures. There's an adventure mode. You can just play these adventures on their own. You can just do that if you want. You can be like, okay, so we're just going to do the ship. How about that? But there's also a campaign book. The campaign book will let you discover Welcome to the Moon by playing its 8 adventures in order from 1st to 8th. Moreover, during each campaign, you will influence the course of events thanks to campaign cards, and therefore create a different story each time. Welcome to the Moon is an evolving game but stays absolutely replayable because none of its components are destroyed from one game to another nor permanently modified. So that's good. I mean, it is not actually a legacy game because you can sort of play through almost like I guess like a choose your own adventure thing, but not actually like a choose your own adventure because that's a trademark term, and I did not use that in a trademark sense. Leave me alone. To play a campaign, first you need to read the stated standard rules, then take the campaign book that will guide you step by step. We suggest that you start with the introduction campaign in order to gradually discover the rules of each adventure. At the end of each adventure, you can save your progress and you will receive stars depending on your result. The player with the most stars at the end of the campaign will be the winner. Okay, and your components are as they describe. You have your starship cards. These are what they call starship cards. That's your deck. You have your mission cards. We'll go ahead and take that out of the deck. And put the box back in. And again, like I said, I opened this up and I was terrified to actually dive into any portion of it because it looked legacy-like. It looked like if I opened any of these up, I'm spoiling the game and I'm going to have another Etherfield situation on my hands. Etherfield is a game that is essentially it's the dream game, and I messed up the order of the cards when I was opening up packs, and now I'm terrified to go back through and figure out what the hell did I do wrong. So at some point I'm going to have to get over my fear and just get into the game. But I will say it's also a game that is ridiculously large. Like, I've never seen a game take up that much space, and then I bought Lost Ruins of Arnak, so I stand corrected. I have some games that I bought specifically so I could do on the channel, and then when I saw how much space they take up, I'm like, oh, F. Because this isn't too bad. I mean, I haven't even looked to see how this is affecting the game area yet, but this doesn't seem too bad. Just going to make sure that these are laid out, and then we can start reading the instructions. And you'll learn this game with me. All right. So there are 3 different Astra Effect cards. Those are the A through C here. Flip those over. 4 Astra Opponent cards, and 4 cards Astra Adventures. They're all dry erase. Everything here is dry erase. You can write on it, and you can be fine. And then there's a whole bunch of campaign cards. Those are sort of safely tucked away. We've got the rule book and the campaign book, and then the adventure sheets. So let's go ahead and take a look at the rules. All right, take one dry erase marker and adventure sheet on the side that was chosen for the game. So obviously these are double-sided, so we can go with 1 here. Take the mission cards that match the chosen adventure. The mission cards are numbered on the top right corner. Among these cards, select 3 of them: Mission A, Mission B, and Mission C. So that's good to know that these are actually like... So it's not just A, B, and C. Like, we actually have to make sure that we've got the right adventures here. So those are A, B, and C for 1, 2, 3. I think that these are fortunately in order already, but I'm just going to go through here and just make sure. 6, 7, and 8. And it looks like there's basically 2 missions for each one. So we're going to set that aside. We're going to keep the mission cards here. I don't know what we're going to be doing with them. We'll just assume whichever one is on top is the one that we're doing. Shuffle the starship cards and split them into 3 face-up draw piles in the middle of the table, number face-up. So we'll go ahead and do that. Like I said, you're going to learn this with me. You're going to completely learn this with me. I have to read the Astra rules at some point. You can watch me shuffle the cards and be horrified at how I treat my cards. Why are you sleeving them? I don't sleeve cards. I don't sleeve. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I don't want to do that work. I would imagine. I don't know if I'm going to do more than 1 game of this. I think part of me, because it is a campaign mode, there's a part of me that's thinking, I don't necessarily want to spoil this for everyone. Like, if you are a big Welcome To fan, if you like the mechanics of this game, I think that I just kind of want to make it possible that you are able to enjoy this. This is an interesting looking game. I mean, there's so. I think one thing that I love about the original Welcome To is that you can. I mean, there's a lot of icons, but it's not that difficult to really break down what's on the page and understand it. Here, I feel like I'm looking at this going like, what the hell am I going to be doing here? All right. Lost a couple cards there. Split them into 3 equal draw piles in the middle of the table, number face up. Okay, so, and there's what? There's 63 cards total? So it's going to be 21 cards each. I have no idea if that's 21. We'll just basically do that. It's roughly equal. So let's flip them. I don't know if it matters which one is which. So we're just going to set these up here. And again, we'll just assume that because I don't want to intermingle these. So we'll just keep whatever's on top is what we're going to go with. It's A, B, and C. I'll slide this a little bit out of the way so you can look at it. Keep this here. All right. A game is played in a successive turn. Each turn is made up of each of the following phases. Flip 3 starship cards. At the beginning of each turn, the top card of each draw pile is flipped and placed in front of its pile. Action face up. This way, each turn you get 3 new number action combinations. Flipped cards are stacked in 3 discard piles. So we would turn this over, and this over. Pick a number action combination. Each player individually picks one of the 3 available combinations and applies the result to their sheets. Several players can therefore pick the same combination. So we could pick 7 calendar, 6 whatever that is, 5 whatever that is. Write down a number. Compulsory. You must write down the number of the combination you picked in an empty space of the markings area of your adventure sheet. These spaces are grouped in different zones depending on the adventure you are playing. In each zone, the numbers must be placed in ascending order from the lowest to the highest. A number can never appear twice in the same zone. In a zone, you can leave as many empty spaces as you wish between 2 numbered spaces, then fill them in later, as long as you keep respecting the ascending order. Likewise, you can skip some numbers. For an instance, put an 8 just after a 6. So if we were to do a 7, knowing that these go from 1 to 15, we could then put in like a... I'm assuming that this calendar one is here, so we could do like a 7 there, maybe. If you can write down at least one of the 3 available numbers, you must pick this combination. If you cannot write down any of the 3 numbers, then you must cross off one system error box in the scoring area of your sheet, and you cannot perform any action this turn. You must cross off the system error boxes from top to bottom. So in this case, system error boxes appear to be here. So I'm assuming that that's what that is for Adventure 1. In other cases, like this one, for example, has them down here, where you're crossing off 0, 5, 10, 15. This one just appears to be just straight up like, you're going to get 5 wrong, 5 bad for every one of them. And then use the action. You can use the action of the combination that you picked as long as you have filled in a space in your sheet with the number of the combination. And action is always optional. So we could do the Space Explorer, we could do 6, write that 6 in here, and then what's going to happen from there? Robot action allows you to connect, build, cut, or explore different parts of, depending on the adventure you're playing. Water and plants allow you to collect resources and earn points or bonuses, but only if you write the number associated with them on the specific area of your action sheet. Energy allows you to improve other actions or their values. Astronaut action allows you to modify the value of the chosen combination before writing it down. Much like with the temp agency, it's a -2 to +2. You can never go below 0. You can get a number higher than 15. Plus, you might also get some additional bonuses. So the bonuses might be like +2. You might get something out of the astronaut bonus, but still only do a +0. So the +0 is always helpful. Planning allows you to fill in additional space on the same turn beside the space you have written down. To do that, you can write down an X in an empty space of your choice. Moreover, you can have a series of numbers like this: 2, 4, X, 5, 6. This might give you penalties or additional bonuses. They are considered number spaces, but apparently that's like it's sort of like a BIS. Same way that BIS works. Basically allows you to connect numbers when you don't have enough spaces to do. Incidents, some effects or consequences that can be triggered during the different adventures are resolved at this point. And then finally, accomplish a mission. The 3 mission cards are objectives that have been given to you by the Human Alliance. And each has a specific rules to that adventure. First player to fulfill in turn, in the same turn, the requirements of the mission can accomplishment. Basically, these work as the city plans. If you're the first to accomplishment, you get 3, 3, 2. You'd write that in the spaces here provided. Presumably, there are similar spaces like that on this sheet. Yeah, you got A, B, C here. So you would do that, and then you would flip it over, and there's an accomplished side for each one of these. And that basically, accomplished means that you can then score the 1, but you can't score anything else. All right, end of the game. Game ends at the end of the turn if one of the players has accomplished all 3 missions, crossed off all the system error boxes, filled in all the spaces of the marking area on their sheet with the numbers or X. At that point of your accomplished missions, add up the points of your accomplished missions and the points for each scoring field. Lose points for your system errors by subtracting the first visible value from your total, or for the first adventure by subtracting the sum of all your system errors. The player with the most points is the winner of the adventure. In case of a tie, the player with the least system error, fewest system errors is the winner. Campaign mode, you receive stars for each adventure depending on your achievements. Then you can move on to the next adventure by reading the next chapter in the campaign book. For a solo setup, so I think that is the next important thing that we have to look at. And this is a lot more learning the game than I usually do on one of these streams. I might do this as a separate precursor and then do a separate actual playthrough. It depends. Maybe you just all like listening to my voice. You can just enjoy listening to my voice for 30 minutes. All right, so Astra, Astral Space Technology and Robots by Alexis Inc. is my main competitor in the space race in the solo game. Your goal is to take over the most profitable resources and to proclaim its own law. Its goal is to take over the most profitable resources, and proclaim its own law. This is unacceptable, and we're all counting on you. Standard rules and specific rules for each adventure apply normally with the following changes. You also have the additional rules depending on the adventure you play in the corresponding sections. So first, pick an Astra opponent card. Number next to their name shows the level of difficulty. So we're going to go with 1, I think. I don't think there's any reason why we should challenge ourselves right out of the gate. So we're going to go with Catherine, which kind of a slap in the face to make you the easiest one, Catherine. Take the Astra Adventure card corresponding to the adventure you play. All right, so that would be this one. The top card of the card shows how to get solo bonuses in order to penalize Astra. All right, so I have no idea what any of this means. Presumably, this is something. I have no idea. We're going to put this together, though. They basically connect like that. Shuffle the 3 starship cards and split them into 3 piles, which we've already done. With their action sides face up, shuffle all 3 A, B, and C in one of the 3 piles. Place the other 2 piles on top of it to form one draw pile of starship action cards. So all of this we don't need to know for the solo version of the game. Sorry. That's what I get for jumping ahead. So we're going to make sure that these are exactly 21 each. Let's do one more shuffle. The rest of this is going to end up seeming very familiar, by the way. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That's 21. It's 21. So we'll take take this one, and we'll combine the 3 cards here, and we're going to do a quick shuffle. Mind the shuffle, mind the shuffling, that's what I'm doing. Alright, and without looking at the rest of this, I'm going to give one more quick sort of like scramble shuffle, whatever you want to call it, and then put this on top, and then put this on top. Alright, so we've got our Starship deck. Alright. On each turn we'll draw 3 Starship cards, and this is going to be very similar to how we do it in Welcome 2. You're going to use 2 of the 3 Starship cards, 1 for its number, 1 for its action. Those go into the discard pile, and then you give 1 card to Astra. And then those points Astra will get. Unlike Welcome 2, it does not appear that you have to worry about the order, because it actually does say that if you have enough space, feel free to sort them by type, because that'll make calculations easier. If you cannot write down any of the 3 Starship cards, you still have to cross off a system error. You still, however, have to select a card to give to Astra. So you cannot just simply be like, you can't do anything this round, so all those cards go away. Nope. All right. The first time your draw pile is exhausted, shuffle only your discard pile. First time your draw pile is exhausted, shuffle only your discard pile with the 3 Astra effect cards to form a new draw pile. These cards, the cards given to Astra, do not come back into play, then play on. So they're going to get 21 cards in the first pass, and then presumably a bunch of extra cards. That is ouch. That's ouch. And essentially, the Astra cards, when they come out, obviously I can't show you. When they come out, they'll have an Astra effect, but then you discard them and draw another card to replace them. Much as with the same game. On the first time that you draw either A, B, or C, you must immediately apply the Astra effect if possible. The effect is specified on the Astra Adventure card. It is different depending on the adventure you play. And on the second draw, you apply the effect and also flip over the mission. Astra does not earn points for that, but you will not be able to get the maximum points. So the first time you see an A, B, or C, you will get a penalty, but you won't have to worry about losing the mission, which is kind of nice. Astra Adventure card shows how to get solo bonuses. You will get them through different ways depending on the adventure you play. Each time you earn a solo bonus, circle them on the Astra Adventure card. You can use them immediately or later in the game. Solo bonus allows you to avoid giving a card to Astra. To do that, whenever you want, cross off an already circled solo bonus. Then, instead of giving Astra the 3rd Starship card that you have not used, discard it permanently, put it back in the box. So that means that you won't get it, they won't get it, but you won't get it either in your discard. So that's kind of key. If you cannot draw 3 Starship cards because the draw pile is exhausted for the second time, game ends. Also, if you have either accomplished all 3 missions, crossed off all system error boxes, or filled in all spaces of the marking area, then you go ahead and end the game as well. To calculate the Astra score for each type of action, write on the Astra opponent card the number of Starship cards you gave them. So for example, if I gave her 10 robot cards, I'd write 10 there. Green will be the fewest points, so that'll be the astronaut, and 4 are the most, so that's the planning. So you want to kind of avoid that. And then I think you just simply add those up. And I think that's it. Like, there's some stuff in here about scoring, but I think that applies to section 1. And it says, to discover the game in the best conditions, we suggest that you stop reading the rules here, open the campaign book, and start the introduction campaign. This scenario will allow you to gradually discover the rules and stories of each adventure. And so we'll go ahead and get started. We're gonna start the campaign here. I'm not going to do the entire campaign. This campaign book is thick. That campaign book is thick. All right, campaign book. Each campaign has you play through 8 successive adventures. As you read the numbered chapters of this campaign book, you will discover a different story depending on your achievements and your choices, as well as new rules and campaign cards that will modify your game. Captain. At the beginning of the campaign, the owner of the game takes the captain card and has the possibility to write down their name on it. As a captain, you read the chapters of the story by playing the role of that character, and you make choices that will have impact on the story and the game. To make these calls, you can discuss with your fellow players, but ultimately, you will be the one who decides. I'm not going to read the rest of this because it is a fairly lengthy thing to read through. They do say, like, on the campaign card, try to note. Let's see, which one was it? I think this one. Which chapter you've done. So I probably did not want to put that captain card down on the bottom. Go back in here. So, and the campaign can be played solo, thankfully. Otherwise, this would have felt like a huge waste of money. Just put that in there. Stop fumbling with that. Whenever needed, specific instructions will be given. If not, simply follow standard rules. You remain captain all along the campaign, even though the story tells you to change the captain. When you win a game, you earn stars for the first place and Astra the stars for the second place, and the other way around if you lose. Moreover, write on the dashboard the level of your Astra opponent. If you have won, face the opponent of the next level for the following adventure. On the other hand, if you've lost, face the opponent of the lower level. I'm going to say that's actually what we did with the different variations of Welcome To. We actually played through that way. So that's kind of cool. And I'm not sure if dashboard they mean by this. Last page of this book. Oh, here we go. This. Which is kind of... So you should copy this dashboard or print it here. Okay, so that's good to know. Oops. So, oops. The beginning, let's see. Then they talk about players who miss games. We obviously don't need to worry about that. Each card of the game has a unique identification number in the bottom left corner. Note that on the campaign cards, the number is in a black box. Do not use the campaign cards unless you've been told to do so. Yeah, and I guess there's an index at the back of the book where you can unlock things based on certain, if you're playing just the regular adventure mode. The beginning is a very delicate time. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to stop the video here. This is going to go up as a separate upload. This will be like game 0. Because I think this is actually going to be a full campaign. I actually do need to do this as a full 8 games. So sorry folks, this was originally going to be a non-themed week. We're going to go ahead and do this as a themed week, starting today and ending in the middle of next week. It's not even really the start of a week because we've done 3 games that were separate from this. So 4 this week, 4 next week, and then we'll do 3 random games at the end of it. No, 2, 5, 3, 4. Sorry. Neither here nor there. Thank you for watching this video. If you did, I know that this isn't really an official actual upload of a game. But I think this was interesting to go through as it was. But I'm going to take a moment. I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to photocopy this. And I will be back in a little bit. Ciao, everybody.